the end of the week, the market sentiment is likely to be the same as during the all 5 days. Investors have been switching to riskier assets, and the US dollar has been falling. As a result, the euro is still trying to reach its 2-month high, and the pound sterling continues recouping its losses. However, there are other reasons for a rise in the euro and the British pound, except for the greenback's weakness. For example, data on the UK retail sales for March was really impressive. However, a surge of 7.2% on a yearly basis causes some doubts, as in the previous months, retail sales dropped by 3.6%. This time, economists had expected a rise of 3.5%. In fact, even an increase of 3.5% is quite big amid the current conditions. Nevertheless, the pound sterling began gaining in value only an hour after the publication. In fact, the British pound just followed the euro, which started growing ahead of the publication of the preliminary PMI report. Notably, the forecasts were rather negative. However, the data exceeded all the expectations. The EUROZONE services PMI advanced to 50.3 points, exceeding the 50.3 short that separates contraction from expansion. Economists had predicted a drop. At the same time, the manufacturing PMI rose to 63.3 points, whereas analysts had expected an increase to 61.7 points. As a result, the composite PMI inched up to 53.7 points against a drop to 52.7. The UK PMI data was also above the forecast, thus boosting the pound sterling. The business activity in the manufacturing sector advanced to 60.7 points instead of decline to 58.5 points. The service PMI jumped to 60.1 points, beating the forecast of a rise to 59.1 points. As a result, the composite PMI climbed to 60 points, exceeding the prediction of a small increase to 58 points. Nevertheless, at the beginning of the US trade, the greenback may recoup its losses due to the US PMI report that is expected to be quite positive. The US composite PMI may jump to 60 points, reaching its all-time high. Thus, the US dollar will have all chances to gain in value. Let us take a look at the trading charts. Yesterday, the euro-dollar pair showed local activity but continued trading between the levels of 1.2000 and 1.2050. On the chart, we can see a sharp rise at the beginning of the European session. The trading recommendation is the same. A sell signal is located at 1.1990 with a target of 1.9050. If the pair breaks 1.2080, the local high of the uptrend, it may continue climbing to 1.2130 and 1.2150. At the same time, yesterday the pound-dollar pair dropped by more than 110 pips. Analyzing the trading chart, we can see that the level of 1.3825 acts as a support level. The pair rebounded after reaching this level. It's quite possible that the downward movement from the psychological level of 1.40 will still take place. However, sell positions could be opened only if the price fixes below 1.3820 with a target of 1.3750. And that's all for now. We keep monitoring the financial market situation. Subscribe to our channel and see you in several hours. We will take a close look at the US trading session.